If you're an insurance agent wondering what are the downsides to life insurance sales, or what are the downsides to becoming a final expense life insurance agent, well, you found the right video, my friends. Look no farther. I'm going to give you two things that maybe you're not told about before you jump into a very simple industry that you're going to find out very quickly is not that easy to navigate when you're looking at it with certain lenses. So we're going to give it to you today. If you got pen and paper, get ready. And we are so blessed to be able to help equip you to be the most successful insurance agent that you can, because these great people need you, and you need to know this before you take the plunge. So number one is chargebacks. Chargebacks are something that a lot of folks just don't talk about. It's part of the industry. You're going to have chargebacks. You shouldn't have a pile of them, my friends, but you will have some that come at you, and it can seem scary. If you were told, oh, you're going to make thousands and thousands, and they never told you about the fact that 20% of your business, on average, even for a great agent, will go backwards. You're trying to make bucks here, and it's like you're moving forward progress and you're getting pushed back. What in the world? Chargebacks? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You write a piece of business. If the money's not there at the bank, it goes bonk. You pay back the advancement that you were fronted. That's not fun, but there's ways of fixing this to the best of your ability. But understand, chargebacks are a true part of a very simple business. You got to see it in the beginning so it doesn't give you a bellyache. But chargebacks can be mitigated when you do a couple little things well, like using a true Social Security billing carrier. So if, let's say, their billing date, the money that they get taken out of their account, falls on, let's say it's a Sunday, and the Sunday is the 3rd. Well, they were actually paid on the Friday before. A proper billing carrier, this won't be a big deal at all. You won't get a chargeback because the moment that they're paid on Friday, guess what? Boom, the money is taken out of the bank. As opposed to using the wrong carriers, they spend their money on Friday. See the problem here? And then Monday happens when the banks are open, and all your sales go bonk, bonk, bonk. And you're like, but they told me they could afford it. I got that, but you used the wrong company, which is why you can't seem to make headway here, and chargebacks hurt. And it's because you made that little mistake. And I'll put a video up here that gives you that Social Security billing calendar. And if you don't see it up above, go to my website, jasonfinalexpense.com. There'll be a pop-up. You can have that for free. So I appreciate you, but understand that chargebacks are part of the business. Non-sufficient funds, when someone doesn't keep their end of the bargain when you're selling a policy, let's say they only paid 2 months and you were advanced 9. Well, guess what? You're paying back 7 months to the company because they only kept it for 2. Ouch, right? You got to find this out on the front side. It's not a big deal if you understand it, because a good agent will still lose about 20% of their business even when they use the right carriers. It's part of the business. And if you have that in your brain before you jump into this business, it won't beat you up mentally so bad. And your mental mindset, your belief, is so important to you becoming the best that you can be. It's so important to you having good focus, having good forward movement, because if you're focusing on the chargeback, you're probably not charging forward. And that's going to make that pain even more powerful in your life because you're focusing on a negative. You've got to be positive and focus on the next person that I can meet a need for, that I can sell a policy to. It's a big deal. And if you have 10 policies a week and 2 fall off, you're still making a good amount of money, right? So don't focus on the 2 that fell off. Focus on the 8 of the 10 that stuck and stayed with you and were loyal to you. If you want to last in life insurance sales, you got to focus on the glass is more than half full, not, oh, it's 20% empty, I'm going to go ride the wambulance. But chargebacks happen sometimes because you high pressured a client. Maybe you sold them a policy where the premium was way too much than they could really pay long term. And then that weight financially became too heavy and they dropped it. That's going to cost you dollars in this industry. So chargebacks can be mitigated if you do things right, but it's still going to happen. And anyone that tells you differently, let me share with you, they're lying to your face. But you need to know these things bluntly in the beginning so that when you get a chargeback, it's like, okay, no big deal. I just pay the money that the carrier paid me back and it's all right. Focus forward into the next call, the next sale, the next solution that you can bring, to a consumer. But non-sufficient funds happen because maybe you didn't know about true Social Security billing. You used a good carrier, but it wasn't the best carrier for the client. That's why I say, look at that video above or go to my website, get a true Social Security billing calendar. Crazy powerful to you keeping the majority of the business that you're writing. So it sticks and stays and helps you find more success, Lord willing, and pays your bills so you can be in this business. But chargebacks beat up a lot of agents, especially when they're using some of these free Frankenstein scripts out there that are really kind of high pressure, or what I call wear down scripts. I want every dollar from you. I'm going to keep talking until you buy from me. Yikes. Be careful out there. That's why I say vet your trainer. I've been so blessed to be in this industry for over 2+ decades, 20+ years, and we recruit and partner with powerful agents as well as agencies to sell a lot of life insurance and annuities and Medicare. And let me tell you, even the best of agent is going to have around a 20% charge back hit in this industry. And we know it, and it's not a problem. Knowledge is power when you possess the right knowledge. All right. If you don't know it though, and you're like, oh, I was told all my business would stick. Lie from the pits. And you're going to pay back all that commission you were fronted when you found out maybe a little too late. Now, number two, this is a drawback that a lot of insurance agents have no clue whatever happened to them. They wrote a policy. It was level business. Mrs. Johnson is just excited because she got day one business. And then a year and a half later, maybe 23 months later, you get a letter from the insurance company that says, hey, Jason, your consumer died under 2 years. I need a full statement from you on what took place, who asked the questions. Do you know anything that you didn't disclose to us? And you may feel like a criminal. You're like, what in the world, man? I got a contestability letter and the insurance company's asking me all these questions. I'm like, I wrote them 23 and a half months ago. What in the world, right? This is why it's so important that you have a fact finder in your life so that you can go to the file and it'll trigger your memory of the medications that they took, their health history, what they wanted to have happen. Do they own other life insurance? They're going to ask you that question. Was this a replacement? You may not have the best of memory. This is why you need to go right back to the fact finder where all your notes are there so that you don't miss a beat, because contestability is going to cost you money if the company rescinds or pulls back the curtain and says, hey, Mrs. Johnson said she didn't have XYZ, but we found in her medical records, because she died under 2 years, that maybe she did have heart failure and she told you a different story. That means all of that commission that company paid you, if the client dies under 2 years, will be paid back to the insurance company in full. Ouch. The poor family of these clients, where if a client lied on their health questionnaire, the poor person that passed away, their family isn't going to get paid, let's say $10,000. They're going to get the money, the premium that the company received, sent back to the family. So the insurance companies are going to take care of the families to the best of their ability. They're saying, hey, this policy shouldn't have been issued. We would have never given it for day one if your mom was honest or your dad was honest with us. So here's all your money back. We take care of the clients through the hands of these amazing companies, right, and their families. But what you're going to find is if a client lied, that money that found its way into your bank account is going to be required to go right back to the insurance company in full if they die under 2 years and the contested claim holds and the company rescinds the policy. They reverse, all right, their decision, because all insurance companies in the first 2 years have the ability, and they exercise it, to rescind the policy if the health and medical questionnaire wasn't right. So you want to understand that. Also, if a client had great health, but they committed suicide in the first 2 years, it's horrible to even speak of that, but it's something that happens across our nation. And in final expense and in life insurance sales, it's a ugly reality. If that happens in the first 2 years, my friends, all of your commissions will be paid back to the company, because the insurance company is going to go, hey, this person may have premeditated it, or we put an exclusion clause in there that says suicide is excluded in the first 2 years. We're not going to pay the death claim. We're going to give your family every dollar back in premiums. Yikes, right? Anyone ever explain that to you? Put in the comments below if you did. I hope this video is helping you. Share it with a buddy if you haven't seen this before. But contestability is a big deal, and this is something where you didn't maybe get told about this before you took the dive into this industry. Companies can rescind policies, 2-year suicide contestability clause, but have a calm moment here, my friends. It's not the huge elephant in the room. It's really not. Number one is the elephant in the room, the chargebacks. Are you writing good business? Are you helping the consumer find something that they can budget for? If not, if you're blowing up their budget, it's going to be like you trying to nail jello to a tree. Your business isn't going to stick and the business will get scary. Do it within their budget and chargebacks when you're utilizing the right carriers. And we've done this, my goodness, I've done this over 2+ decades, 20+ years. Use the right carriers and it is so much simpler to see that your business sticks a little better because billing is right. When billing is wrong, you can do the right thing and nothing seems to stick. Not your fault. You just didn't find the right carriers. But contestability, it happens, makes a lot of insurance agents really nervous. That's why it's so important to have a good fact finder so you can go back to the original application, wheel back time, and you've written hopefully a lot of policies. You're like, oh, hang on, what was Mrs. Johnson? What was Mr. Wallace? Hang on, let me pull their file. Make sure you have a file on every person so that you can document their medications, document their health, document who they want, okay, the beneficiary to be, document if they had insurance. Was this a replacement? Because your memory is probably not going to be that good. And the insurance company, when you go through a contested claim, is going to ask that of you. And I want to make sure you've got the right answers to articulate honestly right back to the insurance company so that they can complete the contestability. And hopefully, if the client didn't lie on the application, send out a check as fast as possible to the beneficiary. They matter, right? So make sure we take our business serious. Make sure you've got a good fact finder. If you don't, reach out at jasonfinalexpense.com. We'll do everything we can to assist you, my friends. It's so important that you are just empowered and just finding yourself in the most successful place that you possibly can be. And understand Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to be perfect when you first start. You just got to be insanely proficient and have powerful partners that are along your side, like the men and women here as well that just love what we do. And no matter what work family that you're with right now, if you need any resources, reach out. We'll help you in any way we can. But remember, you've got what it takes. Keep your belief strong so that you can stay in this business. But chargebacks, they're part of what takes place in your future here, and they're part of what takes place when you have a contestability issue or a client dies in the first 2 years. A lot of agents aren't told about this, and it is a tragic reality of the business that a lot of folks are shined on thinking every policy is going to stick. You're going to make six figures in your sleep without having to do a lot of work. The business, my friends, looks like work. 92% of the agent force fails, and I never want you to become that statistic. The ones that make it in this industry make it about what it is. It's a lot of work, and they don't just hope that the business works out. They hustle to make sure that they have the best chance of success right in front of them. So remember, winning matters, my friends. When you win, guess what? Your client won because they've got protection, they've got the policy that they need, and they'll get the payout that they so desperately desire when they answer the questions ethically, properly, and accurately. And it's always nice to have a voice application if you get a contested claim because they're going to ask you who asked the health questions. You're like, I did, as well as blankety blank company on a recorded line on the 23rd of this month, the year of blah, blah, blah at 8:45 a.m. Please see your records in addition. So you want to make sure that you've got a little bit of protection because you're going to feel like a bad person when you get a contested claim, even if you did nothing wrong. You had everything accurate, but you're going to feel like, oh no, what did I do? Just have knowledge that this is a normalcy in the industry. Give them honest, accurate responses to your side of it, and then the company will send out the right check that should have been handled in the very beginning. If the person was honest, you're great. If the person wasn't honest, well, premiums are going back, putting that family in the best position that we possibly can. I appreciate you, my friends. Have a great day, and remember, you've got what it takes. We'll see you soon.